Reminder, you did just search atheist into YouTube, sort by new, I show up. We know that's the agreement. I want to be so honest and upfront about that. No atheist is going to subscribe to my channel. They would never do that because they fundamentally are opposed to the way I see the world. It would be like an insult to subscribe to someone they know is a Christian. That would be really weird and ironic and just an attack on themselves, right? So therefore, to find my channel, to find my videos, keep typing in atheist, sort by new. It's like a back way. It's like a backdoor way of ultimately subscribing to the channel. With that being said, this is a channel about emotional intelligence, which by default means I'm never going to debate an atheist about the existence of God or who's wrong or right. But this is something this is a revelation. A revelation that what I see is this, and I know this about atheists. There is no central leader. There is no central belief system, really, when it comes down to it. So like I couldn't say, for example, well, atheists, they don't believe that your consciousness exists once your physical body dies. All atheists believe that once you die, you're just dead. Well, that may be generally true, but it's not true for all atheists because there's no central belief for atheism. So, and there's some irony in there because I would say we were created this way for community. I would say created for community is what I would say. I would say it's very obvious. We can even see this in sports. We arbitrarily choose a sports team to cheer for in the game that doesn't matter in the end, the game that we're going to forget about. Who won that last year? I don't even know because it didn't matter. It's all arbitrary. But ultimately, we were created to be part of a community. So what happens when there are atheists across the world who often have been left out, who often have been shunned from their society? They're looking for connection with each other. And one of the best places to do that, ironically, is my channel. Because this is a safe place. I am not here to insult atheists, at least not intentionally. I'm sure I may accidentally at some point. I'm going to accidentally insult everybody in the universe at some point. But that's never my goal. My goal is never to try to prove an atheist wrong or anything like that. I keep this place emotionally intelligent where we can have conversations without turning into 5-year-olds. Well, you're ugly. Well, your mom. No, we don't. It's about having conversations, not about having debates. That's like my motto, right? And so what I really want to focus on, though, in this video is to imagine that there is a void for atheists. I guess arbitrarily you could have like an atheist church, but that's not realistic. The best way to connect with other atheists often is through YouTube in the comment section. And it helps when, there's some very popular atheist YouTubers out there. And yet those atheists would not claim to be leaders. They'd be insulted at the notion that they were a leader and that they had followers. But ultimately, we're created for community. So it makes me often an easy target because here I am, the Christian, ultimately by default gathering atheists to have a conversation, but not a debate. There's a lot of irony in there. Again, I always like to point out, no atheist is going to subscribe to my channel, but they'll search my videos by typing in atheist search by new. That's how that happens. And when I learned about that a while ago, I've known this for, I don't know, eight months, something like that. When I learned about that, I thought, well, that's really weird. But then when I realized, as a Christian, I have access to an actual building. I walk in, there's lots of other Christians. I see them regularly. Many people in my lives are Christians, and I have Christian conversations with them, even often just casually I do, on a daily basis. My own family, everybody in my family, right? So I have a community. Christians have a community. And I think that most atheists would have to agree, even though atheists don't have a central belief system. I think if individually asked and polled, most atheists would agree if the Christians are doing one thing right, that is that they have a community. They are very faithful to make sure that they have places set up where they can meet regularly and get together, have that fellowship, have that discussion of beliefs and ideas, and they have that camp, they have that belonging place. But atheists can't have that by default. It's not going to exist. The best that can happen is the comment section in a YouTube video, while still denying that there's any kind of following there. I don't think an atheist would ever claim to be a follower of anything, even if they're part of a group, ironically watching an anti-leader. Is that what I would be? Would I be like the anti-leader of the atheists? Because you fundamentally disagree with me, even though you keep watching my videos and are engaged by what I'm saying. Hopefully you can clearly see I have no interest in debating anyone, but I just want to help give you an idea, some sort of sense of a community. And boy, that's the word I'm overusing in this video, is irony. Maybe I should just say paradox. The paradox that by default, I'm bringing atheists together, but at the same time trying to make sure that the moment you truly see me as an enemy, you're missing the point altogether, and you won't really be able to appreciate what this channel is about. If nothing else, in the same way you could probably say, hey, Christians are at least good about having a community, and that's more difficult for atheists. I think another thing you could admit about me is, at least I'm a likable guy. You definitely disagree with me, but that's good. Don't we want that? Don't we want people in our lives that challenge us? Don't we want to don't we have access to certain people who we can't relate to and think differently than us? And see, that's why I like these conversations. That's why I have no interest in debate. We already know that we disagree and that we're probably never going to agree on certain things. But I think there's something definitely to celebrate when we can say, you know what, we don't believe the same about God, we don't believe the same about Jesus, about sin, about consciousness existing after you died, being judged. You're like, Nick, stop telling me all that stuff. I don't believe and I don't care. But beyond all that, we can agree on certain things. Even if nothing else, the concept of emotional intelligence enabled to break down this and say, wow, I just watched an 8-minute video and Nick was right. He made some good points. I never really thought about how atheists don't really have a centralized place to belong, and we're all still wanting that sense of community. And sometimes as atheists, we end up rallying against a perceived enemy when maybe it's just an idea that's crazy enough to work. I'll still never subscribe to Nick Shell's channel because I can't get past the thought of subscribing to a Christian because I'm an atheist, even though he's constantly making videos for atheists to watch, and that's weird. We'll leave it at that. What are your thoughts? What is your vision? How do you feel about that? Well, I shouldn't have said that, because remember, one of my rules here is this is not about being emotional and lashing out at people. It's about being emotional. So forget about feelings. It's funny, little bonus video. Should I make this another video? It's funny because if I were agnostic about anything, it'd be about emotions. I know that emotions exist, but I value so much being in control of them. And I believe that the Bible teaches that as well. I believe Christians are taught over and over in the Bible to be in control of their own emotions and not to let their emotions get the best of them. So it's almost like I become agnostic or atheist to the concept of emotions because I'm so in control of them. And when I see that someone doesn't, I realize I'm like, I probably don't. It's probably going to be hard to connect that person. That's why in the comment section of these videos for atheists, I'm constantly looking, okay, where are the, 10% of the people who left comments that will actually be able to speak to me on my level, which is going beyond whether I disagree with this guy or not fundamentally. But where can we find connection? Imagine that irony, that paradox, that you find connection. You're looking for connection with other atheists. Imagine the irony when you realize you find connection with a Christian, even though you're not really talking about Christianity, not really. Deep thoughts, man. All right. Now, comments, they will belong here. And I'll see you again next time, tomorrow, when you type in atheist, sort by new. Never subscribe to this guy because fundamentally you can't. Search atheist, sort by new. You know how YouTubers are like, don't forget to subscribe. That has to be the new thing I say to atheists. I just have to say, sort by new. Sort by atheist new. That's what I have to do. All right, there you go.